Today we're going to go over 3 different strengthening exercises for hip impingement. My name is Sebastian and this is Desiree. We're going to go over the exercises just one moment here. First, know that if you have hip impingement, you probably have symptoms similar to where do you want to show them, Des?
It's like right in this area here.
Okay, not in the back of the hip, just in the front that travels a little bit down. Okay, it's important to know that because if you guys do these exercises and you have the wrong thing, you may not benefit at all. So if those are your symptoms, you're on the right video. Before we start the video, if you guys are looking for more information about hip impingement, we do have a webinar in the corner. Take advantage if you'd like. Okay, we're going to modify box squats first, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to teach me or I teach you?
I'll teach you.
Okay.
Okay.
So why do we need to modify box squats, by the way?
So typically when you would get into this position here, we would do this in the instance where you're feeling the pinchy sensation in the front of the hip when you're going into like a deeper squat. So what we're doing here is we're reducing the range for right now. So that way we can work on building what we call tolerance into these positions. So it's a non-threatening position for your body to go into. So ideally this is for someone that likes squatting or needs to squat in their daily life. And they need to work on building this back up or they don't want to stop these type of activities. So what I'm going to do here with Seb is have him find a nice comfortable stance. So whatever that squat stance is for him, he's going to take it. If that works for you.
Some people, right?
Yeah, some people. So what we're going to do is have him just keep himself nice and tall. He's going to focus on breathing into his guts, or breathing his guts into his hands, I should say. And he's going to work to push the ground away from him as he stands up nice and tall.
What do you mean by pushing the ground away?
Pushing the ground away from you would be like if you're pushing a heavy door with your hands, you're going to do that with your feet.
Okay.
So push the ground away from you and propel yourself up to the sky. If you like fun analogies, I like to pretend like you're a rocket ship taking off.
Okay. Now what if I feel a little hip impingement with this?
A little hip impingement with this. So what we want to try to do is maybe limit the amount of rocking forward we might do, because again, that might cause some of that pinchy sensation here.
Okay.
So maybe I might cue him to stand a little bit taller, like a string is pulling him up to the sky, and then stand up.
That's harder.
It is going to be a little harder. We're going to probably use a little bit more of the leg muscles. You doing okay with that so far?
Yeah, it's hard. The depth might be hard.
The depth might be hard. So we can always have you stand up. If that was still the issue, we can bring this box up a little bit higher. Let's try that. It's going to feel easier because you're not going as deep into the range. But again, right now the focus is being able to still squat, but limiting the pain we feel in the front of the hip. Does that feel okay?
Yeah, that feels better.
Awesome. Now if we wanted to progress this and make this a little harder, maybe I have him sit down slower. So as he stands up, he's going to sit down slow, like there was an egg underneath his bottom here and he doesn't want to crack it. Very nice, mother hen. And then stand up tall.
It must be hollow or something.
Maybe. Down slow, and then come up tall.
Yeah, I feel my quads burn a little bit.
Yeah, sure. And then he would take a break. Another thing that we could do for this instance is have him grab a weight. Now, the really cool thing about the weight is it allows you to sit back into the hips a little bit more. It's also going to force him to stay more upright because he's going to resist. So you get the benefit of working the muscles around the spine as well as the muscles in the legs. So for someone that's active and likes to challenge themselves, this is a really great way to do so. How does that feel?
That feels a lot easier.
That feels a lot easier?
It feels easier to get back.
Yeah, because that weight's going to be resisting you as you go to sit down.
Good. Okay, so that's one way to modify things that you're doing in lieu of adding the depth back in later, right?
Yep.
Okay, the next one we talked about is doing lunging.
Lunges.
So first, why don't you just show them, show a lunge position forward towards the camera
Okay.
so we can just get a little view. And just stay down there in that position. Good. So now let's just say Des has problems onto this right hip. What we know from testing of hips is that hips generally with hip impingement don't like a combination of movements. They don't like hip flexion, which is knee towards chest. So if Des decided to lean into it, she would have more symptoms. Also, if she allowed her knee to drift across midline, she would also have more symptoms too.
Yeah.
So if you guys play with this at home, you'll feel that if your knee drifts across midline, you'll notice the side of your foot unroots from the floor, okay? So what I want you to do is, can you smash my fingers, keep my fingers down through the whole exercise, okay? And so also too, I'm gonna limit her excursion back and forth because she's probably walking across the gym forward or backwards. We're going to change that into just up and down. Stay in your place. Stop using the whole gym. Okay?
Stop being so selfish.
Can you go ahead? Yeah, stop being so darn selfish. People are trying to walk across the gym floor. Go ahead and push your foot through my fingers in order to get your head towards the ceiling.
Okay.
Go ahead. Good. Come on down. Good. A couple times like that. Now she's doing a good job of not having to drift in over the foot either. Generally that's not bad, but in this situation we might have to remove it for a period of time before we replug it back in.
Okay.
Okay. The last one we were going to cover was we talked about hiking up, stepping up things, right?
Like people like to go hiking. People like to, they don't necessarily like to do it, but sometimes you live in a place where you have stairs. And so, again, if you have pinchy hips and you have to step up onto a box or a step, maybe you're reaching up into your garage, your attic up there. These are all things that happen. It's part of your life. You need to be able to do it.
Okay. Do you want to teach me?
Sure.
You teach me.
So what we're going to do here is we're going to have Seth put his foot on the box. Again, we're going to be watching body position here. So we want to make sure that he's not leaning too far forward to where that might cause some pinching sensation into the hip. So for right now, there might be a slight lean. You can see him pushing off that back foot a little bit. So he's going to push the box into the ground to push himself up. So let's have you scoot back just a little bit here. So for you, Seth, push your head up into the sky and then control back down. How does that feel there?
I feel a little bit of pinching on the inner part here.
Okay. Another thing that we're going to focus on is similar to that lunge. We're going to be mindful of our foot position. So again, we're going to use that cue of crushing the finger. Good. Come up tall. How you doing there?
Yeah, that feels better.
That feels better.
It's funny, when I look down, I can see my foot.
Yeah.
I couldn't before.
Oh, see? So that's another thing you can keep in mind too when you're doing these at home. So we'll do these, focusing on this motion and patterning the movement. So when you go to do it in your day-to-day life, it's not something you have to think about.
Yeah. Most of the time, so using an exercise as kind of a way to patch in a problem into everyday life is almost like you're putting a patch on like software. Generally, it carries over into life. You don't have to think about it when you're walking up and down stairs, not every step. Use your gym time to actually pattern in the movement, patch the software, and then it should carry over. Now, if you guys are looking for help for hip impingement, we have a lot of videos on YouTube about examination, stretches, increasing range of motion, various different things. But if you really want the best help, we can help you virtually or in person. We have online services, we have online programs, and we do see people in person still. So we'd love to help you. We're in Costa Mesa, California. Reach out to us via the contact information below. Subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.